Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Moyna Bass Fishers. I am Jim Moyna. In this video, we are just going to give a quick summary as far as what I did to prepare for this coming week of fishing on Sam Rayburn. Our practice starts in 2 days. It starts on Sunday. Today, right now, as I do this video, it's Friday night. And this will be 2025, early February. All right, so as the one thing you have to keep in mind as practice and the tournament approaches, and we all know this, we really have to keep our eye on the weather. And it could be more, a big lake like Sam Rayburn, it is so crucial to structure your practice and plan for and just plan out where you're going to fish based on the weather and based on the wind, because wind can have such a big bearing on what goes down out here. So in practice, looking at the 3 days of practice, which would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday's an off day. Tournament starts Thursday, goes on Friday. Last top 10 guys fish Saturday. So what I'm going to be looking for in practice is those windows of relatively calm seas where I can get out into exposed areas of the lake and look for fish, look for my forward-facing sonar type fish out there, get out in some of the standing timber, because you don't want to be out there exposed to the wind looking for fish when you got a big wave going on. I mean, this lake can get super wavy when that wind gets up. You can get tucked away in some of the side bays and that, but the open part of the lake, it can just completely wipe you out. So you have to keep that in mind. You have to play that into your potential strategy. If you want to get offshore, out into the exposed parts of the lake, you got to take advantage of those windows when it's calm. So, and just looking at the weather, it's supposed to be a high of like low 80s here tomorrow, and then it's going to cool down. So anytime you got to cool down, there's always a chance of some wind coming in. We'll see. But just looking at, from what I saw, tomorrow it is going to be windy, but we're not going to be out there fishing. But there are going to be pockets of calm weather or calmer weather, like 5 to 10 mile an hour type stuff from various wind directions depending on the day, because it's going to start, from this, we're going to have southerly, southwesterly type winds, and then by later in the week, it's going to be northernly dominated type winds. So you just have to take that into account. Take into account the wind speed. We take out of the south end of the lake, so getting on the north, like a northwest wind, getting up to the northwest end of the lake can be a nightmare in a big wind. So taking into all this weather into consideration is so vital in these types of tournaments, and especially, and even in practice, because you want to be efficient in practice, which means you don't want to be fighting the weather in practice. You want to be eliminating water efficiently, covering water efficiently. So take advantage. I'm going to have to take advantage of the calmer days of practice and fish those exposed areas, because there will be, it looks like, a week out is kind of iffy on weather and wind speed and that, but that's what we have to go with at this point. So looks like there's going to be some main lake fishable kind of weather, but we'll see. It could change. They might have to adjust it. Who knows? We'll see. But that's a big part of what's going on in my mind, is trying to formulate something that will be conducive to deal with various wind conditions and wind speeds. Now, as far as actual things I did today to prepare, I got in here last night, and basically the day kind of went like this. Slept in till 9 o'clock, got out of bed, talked to the Ed, the manager of the park here, talked to him a little bit, then got my camper off my truck. That takes about an hour or so to get that set up. Then what did I do then? I went into town and got groceries. Got groceries, stopped at the hardware store because there's something that I want to see if I can't fix on my camper, which I'll have to do that project tomorrow. What else did I do? I stopped at McDonald's to have something to eat because I didn't have any food. So love McDonald's. That's my guilty pleasure is McDonald's. Love that place. It's I'm ashamed to admit it, but I do, and I need to cut back on it. Really, I mean, really, once a week is more than enough there. So anyhow, then I had to get the truck and boat washed because that had all this road sludge from driving all the way from northern Minnesota down to here. With the weather we had back north, they throw ice on the roads, and I live on a dirt, dusty road, but that's actually ice. That's like snow covered right now, hard packed snow from being driven on. But the main roads, they got a lot of slushy, salty sludge, and of course that gets all over your boat trailer, gets all over your boat, gets all over your truck. Hence, that's why I was at the car wash, truck wash, and grocery shopping. I had to get my grocery shopping done. Had to also go to Walmart then because the grocery store I went to didn't have the hard-boiled eggs that I wanted to buy. See, I like eating hard-boiled. I like eating some eggs during the week for breakfast. So what I find is you can actually buy like hard-boiled eggs. They're in the egg section. But the grocery store I went to didn't have them. So then I ended up having to go to Walmart, which was right on the way back, so no big deal. But still, you got to pull off the road, park, walk in, find the eggs. Bought some chili cheese Fritos while I was at it. Left, got back here, and then you got to put all the groceries away into the camper, neatly, orderly. Got to keep things organized in here. Limited space. Organization is very key in what do I do. And then it was time to change the oil in the lower unit of my Mercury. Change the oil in the power head of the Mercury. It'd be the Mercury. I got a Mercury Pro XS 225 horsepower on a Ranger Z519. This would be a 2023 setup. And then so by the time I got done changing that oil and also put in a fuel filter, put that in. So by the time all that was done, the sun had set below the trees. It was still light out, but the sun was down below the trees. So then there's a cleanup. You had to clean it all up, throw stuff away, wipe down the oily stuff like that oily, put tools away. Then it was time to go meet my friends, Dennis and Joyce Fiedler. Go meet them over at the campground where they're staying at. And they fed me dinner, so thank you guys for that. Dennis and Joyce, I've known them since I was in college, a long time ago. I met Dennis in the Tackle Busters Bass Club. It was a BASS Federation Bass Club in Minnesota. And that's where I met Dennis many years ago. So, and he's fishing the Bass Opens here this year, same division 2. So I met with him, and that was a nice visit where we discussed many things, not just fishing, but other things as well. And now I'm back here doing this video. So that's kind of how the day goes. Tomorrow, what are we going to have to do tomorrow? I haven't touched my fishing tackle at all, hardly. So tomorrow, it's going to be a full day of setting up rods, setting up the boat, organizing the boat, getting stuff just orderly. I want to know where I want to touch everything in the boat. I want to know where everything is, so when I'm out fishing, I'm as efficient as possible. So if I need a needle nose pliers, I know where to go. I know right where to go and grab it. If I need a 6-inch straight worm, I know right where to grab it. If I need a half-ounce drop shot sinker. I know right where to grab it. I'm gonna touch. I mean, I kind of got. I mean, a lot of that stuff's kind of in the place it should be, but I'm gonna touch everything, look at everything, do some, organizing. Maybe there's probably baits in there that can come out of the boat, and there's some baits that I got in uh, in my camper here that I keep as backups. There's probably some stuff, some techniques that where I need to put that in the boat and just get everything prepared. Because once you're on the clock, once practice starts, you're on the clock. Every second counts, every minute counts. You don't want to be wasting time wondering where stuff is. Where did I put this? Where did I put that? It just has to be all automatic. And I kind of have an idea where I keep a lot of my stuff in my boat, but I just haven't fished out of this boat since about the second week in November. So, and I don't know exactly what condition I left everything. So I'm gonna go. I mean, that's why I gotta go through there and touch everything, see where everything's at, open stuff up, just make sure I don't have a whole lot of redundant things going on. Like like a bag of craws here in this compartment, same bag of craws over here in this compartment. Say, let's get everything consolidated, everything grouped together, some similar things. Make sure everything's just set up exactly the way it should be, how it works for me. And of course, all the rod, you got to set up a lot of the rods. Okay, which rod am I going to put a lipless crankbait on? Which bait is it going to be? Which rod am I going to put a hybrid hunter on? Which rod am I going to, I got to set up my Carolina rig. I got to set up my deep diving crankbait. I got to set up my forward-facing sonar baits and all that. So, and I got to load my GPS point data. I've been to Lake Sam Rayburn many times. I got a lot of waypoints. So I got to load up my old waypoints into my units. And but before I do that, I gotta, whatever waypoints are on there right now, probably maybe my Lake Mojave waypoints are still on there. So I got to take those off of there and put these new ones on. It's always recommended not to just leave every, if you got 5,000 waypoints on your graph, the processor just has a slower. It just everything processes a little slower. So I've been told by Lowrance people a long time ago. Maybe this doesn't even apply anymore, but a long time ago they said, you know what, just have a chip for each lake, or maybe a section, or 2 lakes. That way, when you come to Sam Rayburn, you wipe your stuff clean, and you put in your few hundred points that you might have, and the processor will just, your units will be really quick, really responsive, and you're maximizing your efficiency. So that's another little task. Then I also last year I bought, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. I bought this last year. I totally forgot I even bought this. I was going through one of my drawers in here, and I forgot I even had this. But what it is it's a chip that goes into my Lowrance, and it says Boat Lane, Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend. So this will show me all the boat lanes out here, supposedly, because there is a lot. When they flooded Toledo Bend, when they flooded Rayburn, they left big areas. They clear cut some areas, and then other areas they just let the trees stand as they were. Well, that was so long ago that all these trees that were left in the lake, well, they've rotted off at the water line, and so you have a lot of these forests, like just a foot or two underwater. But there are boat lanes through them that aren't marked on Sam Rayburn. On Toledo Bend, they have a lot of the boat lanes are marked on Toledo Bend, but here they don't mark them. So if you want to run through some of that stuff to save time, you gotta know where the lanes are. So I bought this last year. I don't know. I don't remember installing this. I don't remember using this, but I have it. And so that's another thing I got to figure out for tomorrow, just to see what the heck's going on with that. Because it'd be nice to know where the boat lanes are. You can fish a big part of Sam Rayburn, just going off of your, the mapping on your electronics, because it'll show you, hey, here's the black forest, here's the amber forest. he kind of gives you a general idea where the forests are, and you can go around them. But I'm hoping that that chip there gives me more precision on of where the lanes are, where it's hazardous to run and safe to run. Okay, yeah. Well, let's just end this video now. It just gives you an idea of what's been happening, what I got to do, what goes through my mind as I prepare. I believe I heard there's 243 boats in this tournament. Division 1, I think, had like 150 to 160 boats in their Clark's Hill tournament. So realistically, based on the numbers, that would have been the better division to enter, because ideally you want to be in the top 50 after these 4 tournaments in Division 2, or the 4 tournaments in Division 1. Top 50 there, top 50 here. So what's it easier to be the top 50 in a field of 240 or in a field of 150? I mean, simple math. But you know, this is the schedule that worked for me, was Division 2. And not only that, I kind of looked at these fisheries as ones that I was a little more familiar with. They weren't as far as a drive. So why is there such a giant disparity in numbers between Division 1 and Division 2? Some people might look at it as it is the fisheries. They're like, hey, we like the Division 2 fisheries way more than the Division 1 fisheries. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I don't care. At this point, I don't care. I mean, had I known this information before signing up, I would have cared, because then you could do something about it. But at this point, I've already signed up. It doesn't matter. I gotta beat 240 some guys. That's what it comes down to. All right, let's leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Over and out. 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 Quit.